RWBY Vol.2, Episode 5, Extracurricular. This episode was really a roller coaster of emotions when you think about it, like going through. The beginning of the episode was really intense and action packed. We got to see the clips that we get from the opening with Pyrrha versus Team Cardinal, and that was an amazing scene. I loved every bit of that. We got to see Team Cardinal get whooped up, so I'm sure everybody enjoyed that just like I did. But not only did we get to see Pyrrha showcase, which was amazing because some of the stuff she was doing was really cool, and it was almost telekinesis like because she has polarity, so she could throw something and then just bring it back from far away. When she threw her shield and it hit both the guys at the same time, that was one of my favorite parts. When she spun her staff around her neck while it was transforming was really cool, and it was just cool seeing her do that. And she would like flip the staff through the air and kind of leave it floating so she could block, grab it while it's upside down and do something. It was really cool. And we also got to see what Team Cardinal's weapons do. So that was really cool too. The guy with the mohawk, he has like two little daggers. We didn't get to see him really do anything except for like the spinning wheel thing. But if you saw the daggers, they had different colors going through them. So he uses his daggers like Weiss uses her sword. So that was pretty cool. We didn't really get to see it, but we know what it could possibly do. We saw the guy who has like, I guess, the bowl cut or whatever with the orange hair. He has just a flat out gun sword like Final Fantasy or something. It just flips back and shoots. Cardin just has the axe. It basically just has explosions at the end, so that kind of fits him. And the other guy, I didn't really notice what he had too much, but I enjoyed getting to see them use their weapons as well, so that was really cool. Them getting beat up, of course, loved it. Then we got to see Mercury step in, which I thought was really interesting. I was so sure he was gonna call out Yang because I just want to see like the fist versus feet that they're gonna do because they're gonna be like the rivals when they all, so come to a head. But he called out Pyrrha and he tested her ability, and I loved seeing that guy fight because we hadn't really gotten to see him do anything except for like the one kick in the premiere of the season. And in this episode, he was just doing those insane flips and kicks, and it was just amazing to see. It was really sweet. And the only person I could possibly say he reminds me of in real life is actually Jackie Chan's bodyguard. If you guys saw, I think Legend of the Drunken Master, it's one of the Drunken Master movies. Jackie Chan fights his bodyguard at the end of that film as like the big bad guy. That guy can move his feet like no one I've ever seen, and it was very similar to this. He wasn't doing as many like spins and flips through the air and stuff, but he can move his feet that fast in real life. And watching that, that's what I was thinking of outside of the insane flips and him using gunshots on his feet. But it was really cool to see, and I love the fact that he did stop the fight. It was just like he did that to see what Pyrrha knew, and it was interesting that him fighting her kind of led to us learning a little bit more about her polarity. And it's not that she can just control anything. She has to touch it and then she can control it, which a lot of people probably already knew. I'm not huge on what polarity does. I didn't know you had to touch something in order to be able to control it, but that was news to me, so that was interesting to find out. So after we have the really cool amazing action scene, and sort of in between those we get little hints of Blake, and we got the little hint where you can see her eyes, and it was for a really quick scene where Glenda Goodwitch mentions like, you've kind of just been quiet these past couple of classes, so why not you step in? And then after they had the fights and stuff, she's just in the book. She basically fell asleep during that class, during that incredibly tiny fight that we actually got to see. She had fallen asleep already, and when the alarm went off, she like jumped up. So she hasn't really been sleeping since the last episode, and I have to assume it's been maybe a week, maybe just a couple of days. But she was knocked out, and then we had another emotional moment with her character, which I really enjoyed. And the girls were trying to pick her up, like, hey, you should really go to the dance and stuff with Sun, and he asked her out. And that scene, I'll get back to that scene because they did something that kind of made me really mad, but I'm also really excited because they showed some people, so next week I'm hoping. But they were trying to pick her up, and it was just really good to see that. It was really emotional. Like, she's just distracted. She doesn't want to do the dance. She's just freaking out because people can die. People are probably going to die, and she just wants to solve that issue. And that was sort of the really emotional part of the episode. And then when she left out, they had the part with Juane, and that was really funny, and I enjoyed that, him coming in and singing. And it was really good just to see Juane because I feel like we haven't had him at all this season. He was thrown into a window in the premiere, and he got hit with those two chickens in the premiere, and that's really about it. And the stuff he said in episode 2 when he almost said that he knew Blake was a faunus, and that's really about all we've gotten out of Juane. So it was really good to see him singing with the guitar and stuff. That was really funny. And then it was him in Pyrrha training, but it was just a great episode overall. I also loved the part where the girls were leaning in after Weiss said no to Juane, and Yang was like, "That's why they call you the Ice Queen." And RWBY kind of looked down and basically realized the fact that they're leaning like this, and she looks down and she's like, "Oh crap," and she falls over. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like she kind of, it was almost like a fourth wall type of thing where she looks down like we shouldn't be able to do this, and she falls over after that. So I enjoyed that, and then we got to see Pyrrha and Juane training together, which was really good. I thought, honestly, I thought the whole episode was going to focus on Pyrrha since it started with her. And also, I believe that's the picture that they use on Rooster Teeth's website, like for the thumbnail. It's actually Pyrrha. So I thought the whole thing was just going to be her and what issues she's having this season. And it does kind of start, and then it basically ends with that where Jean, he talks about Weiss, and you can see how that affects Pyrrha. And she doesn't really mention it. She says like the whole plenty fish in the sea and stuff. And he mentions how like her being so amazing, she probably has a bunch of guys all over, and she doesn't. And he walks off like, yeah, sure. Like if you don't get a date, I'll wear a dress. Which I don't know if that's really gonna happen, but I'd love to see that because that'll be pretty funny. But it ends on her face, and she's just kind of upset. Like she wants to be with Jean, I have to assume. And even if she doesn't, no one's really asking her, and it's probably just like it is in real life. Like she's the really attractive and also incredibly talented person. Like she's called invincible because she has like the polarity stuff, and pretty much everything is made out of metal at some point in someone's armor or weapons, so she can basically fight without being touched. So she's like almost super high class, even though she's just a normal girl, but that's how people see her because she's so amazing. And she ends up left alone, and it was just a really good moment in the episode, and I really loved it. It was a great way to end. I'm really excited to get this dance episode because I feel like that's the episode where we're finally gonna get Pyrrha and Jean together. I don't know if we officially will, but I feel like it has to be something at this dance. So I'm really excited for next week's episode. Everything else was pretty good. The way it ended was very sinister with Cinder like holding the little needle at the end. It was just a very sinister ending little scene. I enjoyed that. Whatever they did with putting Pyrrha on some list, I have to assume it's them cataloging who's like the best fighters and stuff like that. But great episode. And then the one thing that kind of upset me, and this was as I mentioned during the scene where Team RWBY's coming out of the class and Sun goes over to Blake. Before that, when they have that giant aerial view, it's almost impossible to miss that Sun is standing with 3 other people and not just one guy with blue hair. So we have all of Team Sand, and I believe that is, I don't know if that's actually the name, I can't remember, it might be the name, but we have the entire team there, and we don't get to see them. I thought he was coming over to say like, hey, I want you guys to meet my friends, these are like the people who will form my team. But we didn't get to see them, and that really sucked. But they're in the episode, they were officially shown, so I'm hoping they're at the dance. We get something with Sun talking to Blake, and he's like, hey, you were kind of upset last time, so I didn't really get the chance to introduce you to these 2 guys, and then we get to see them. But that was the one thing that kind of got me. I was like, oh, they're right there, and then they only show Sun. They didn't even show Neptune, which I thought was kind of funny, but it sucked that they were just in the background and we didn't get to know the characters. But it was a good episode, like I said, sort of a roller coaster, but it had all the great elements. It had great action in the beginning with Pyrrha of all people, who haven't really had a good focus on her fighting, except for the big episode in season 1. We had the emotional stuff with Blake again, comedy with Jean, and then yet another serious part with Pyrrha, which was really good because once again we know a little bit about her, how amazing she is, but we haven't really gotten to get a fleshed out version of her character. So we really started in this one, and I really enjoyed that. So overall, it was a great episode. Had some great moments, a very sinister ending, but I'm really excited for next week. Of course, comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what do you guys think this list is actually for? Do you think it's just to catalog who's the strongest? And also, what do you guys think Cinder actually meant? Because it seemed like with what she said, where it's like it's taking power from those who have it, it almost seems like they actually have a plan to almost destroy people's semblances or find some sort of drug or something that can counteract it. So what do you guys think the list and her phrasing actually means? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.